Hi, I'm Stephanie Strange. Want to hear something scary? Servants of the Devil. Sometimes life can imitate art, but if it gets too close, things can go very wrong, as in this tale inspired by Michaela and based on a true story. Despite horror movies being extremely rare in Egypt, Yassine, an inspiring director, felt like he had the perfect script. The story was simple. After the death of his only daughter, a grief-stricken doctor leaves his family home and moves into an old mansion only to experience some violent hauntings. So he calls a spiritualist to investigate. Yassine had cast a real-life spiritualist for the role who had expert knowledge of the paranormal. Saeed El-Husseini Al-Fayek was well known for specializing in black magic. Yassine encouraged him to act as he typically would during an investigation. When they were shooting the exorcism scene, the crew watched in awe as the spiritualist recited a powerful incantation. The spiritualist read Al-Tizar Al-Bar Hatya, written in an ancient language and needed to be chanted at a very specific pace. In addition, the precise pronunciation of each word was required in order to banish jinns. As Al-Fayek ended the monologue, the crew cheered. Less than 10 people in the world could perform it correctly, as it takes many years to master. Any small mistake could be catastrophic, since it was believed that no spirit could disobey a summoning incantation. Once performed, the words opened the door for the spirit realm, allowing entry to the human world. Yassine was thrilled with the performance and asked a cinematographer to check the footage. But as they began to watch, they were baffled to discover most of the footage was distorted. When the scene with Al-Fayek's big moment began to play, the cameraman looked in horror. "Sir," he mumbled, "who are these people?" His fingers shook as he pointed towards the screen. Yassine stared at the screen in disbelief. There were shadows of people in the footage who had not been on the set. The director insisted it was probably just something on that reel, but the cinematographer knew it wasn't his fault. The spirits were glaring back at them, and the distortion appeared only on that reel with the incantation scene. However, time was short and they decided to wrap up the production as quickly as possible. The movie was released and tickets for the premiere sold out fast, as Egyptian citizens were eager to get a taste of the rare homegrown horror movie. Yassine sat in a packed audience enjoying the fruits of his labor. When the incantation scene took place, a woman began screaming and crying. As people rushed to help her, others began to vomit, unable to control themselves. Some claimed they felt cold hands touching them, and others left the theater out of fear that something else other than just a movie was going on. And this wasn't a one-off incident. This happened all over the country whenever the film was being screened. One theater even burned down with no explainable source of the fire. That was enough for authorities to pull the movie. Yassine was devastated. The cinematographer was certain it was the incantation, and after close inspection, Yassine discovered the spiritualist's horrific act of deceit. Al-Fayek had purposely recited the exact words not to exorcise the jinn as instructed, but to open a portal. The crew was terrified. Egyptian culture is very strict about black magic. It was not to be messed with, and those who use it to hurt others will become servants of the devil. Yassine desperately tried to find Al-Fayek to retract the spell, but he seemed to have disappeared. Years later, Yassine received a strange phone call. Al-Fayek's wife had found him laying on his back on the floor of his office, his face blue as though he had been suffocated. His jaw was cracked open, and there was black tears running down his cheeks. His eyes were as wide as dinner plates staring at the ceiling, and above him was a dark stain that looked like a burn mark. When the police arrived, they discovered many handkerchiefs stained with blood and copious amounts of milk, both things synonymous with black magic. And there were hundreds of photos of celebrities with strange incantations and spells written on the back, including one of Yassine from their time on set. There was no logical explanation for his death. His autopsy showed no signs of physical trauma, poisoning, or even cardiac arrest. The case was closed quickly. No one wanted to return to the scene. It seemed Al-Fayek had truly become a servant of the devil, seduced by riches and infamy.